Welcome, my fellow questers, to Metaverse Adventures. My name is Immersive Matthew. Today is September 22nd, and this is your Oculus Quest new games and experiences in the store. And we've got quite a few to cover off that hit the store in the past 7 to 10 days. We're going to talk about each and every one of them, what they're all about, what you can expect, who they're sort of intended for, and the price and score on Oculus.com. So if you're in the market to buy a game for your Quest, then this is the episode for you. So wherever you are in the world and whatever you're doing, sit back, relax, and let's get into the news. All right, well, let's get into the games first because quite a few pretty cool titles here, and some of them have gotten some pretty high scores. The first one we're going to talk about is Cave Digger Riches. It's by developer Mikiwi, and I hope I'm saying that right. And right here you can see the video that BMF has. He's one of the very first reviews. We'll talk about that more in just a moment. It's a Western-themed game. It's really an adventure and exploration. So you're not going to be going around and shooting a lot of stuff. It's not that game. As you can see here in the video, it's really about going around with your hammers and other tools and your mining and even actually getting things like oil as well, which is pretty cool. It's indoor and it has outdoor sections with a huge train sort of thing going on. So if you're into trains as well, especially steam trains and older things as you can see here, this sort of Western theme, this is a cool title to get into. It has lots of tool power-ups, including for your axes and other power tools you might be using within the game, plus your train as well. So you're into customizing, that's a pretty cool ability. It has an interesting story and kind of a rich environment with things to go and explore and try to uncover what the heck is actually going on there. It has 8 different endings, apparently, depending on where you actions. And I had not seen this or played this game yet. I'd love to know more about these 8 endings. That does sound quite interesting. And like I was saying earlier, BMF got an early access, and in fact, even as of this video on this 22nd, there are hardly any other reviews of this game. So this is a good one to go look at. It's interesting though, because on one hand, he said he wanted to like it more, and then on the other hand, he did say he liked it. So I think it's hard to say where it's at, but when you go over and look at Oculus.com, you see that it had a score of 92%, and that's with 30 reviews as of today. And it does include, by the way, for any of you who've played this in the past, all previous content that wasn't there before, plus more. And it's only $19.99. Let's call it 20 bucks. So it's a pretty good price. It does appear to have a fair amount of content, albeit I think you should go look at the BMF review just to get a better sense to if this is the title for you. I think bottom line, if you're the kind of person who likes to explore and collect things and upgrade, then this is definitely the game for you. And even if you like trains and Western theme, this also might be the game for you. But if you're looking for a shooter, this is definitely not the one for you. Oh, and a quick tip for you. I don't know how many of you know this, but Oculus does have a very good return policy. Now, you can return a game that you bought in the Quest store, provided that it's less than 14 days from the date of purchase, that it's been played for less than 2 hours total. So you can't play, 1.5 and then 1.5 later, that's now 3. So it has to be under 2 hours total. And you can only do 5 returns like this within a 30-day window. So keep that in mind, don't go crazy. But if you do buy a game, like say this one here, and you just realize it's just not your cup of tea, that's okay. Get a refund and go try something else. And you can do that up to 5 times in 30 days. That's a very generous, I think, policy in my opinion. So thank you, Oculus. And I encourage you all, go try it out. It's not much risk. And the only thing you might find out, you love the game or maybe you don't. Another game that came out in the store is Real VR Fishing, and this is one we've covered off in the news a few times. It's by developer MirageSoft, and this is one that is really aiming to be more realistic. YouTuber here, Ben Plays VR, gets quite into it, and you can go and watch him explore the game quite thoroughly. A link below to go and see that video. In this particular one, you get to explore 15 lakes and rivers. And these are basically things that have been scanned in with something called photogeometry. And what it, or photogrammetry, sorry. And what it really does is they take a whole bunch of photos of a space, like maybe hundreds of photos, and then they put them into a computer, and it then basically stitches them all together. And because it had all those different perspectives with a camera, it can actually then figure out depth and actually build a very accurate model in 3D of that environment. So that's what you're seeing here. And you can see, I mean, they do look very realistic. And I have not tried this game, but I am actually considering how much I love bait. I really love bait, and I don't like fishing, so this is interesting. Just be aware, all the locations are in South Korea. I don't think it's a big deal, but just so you know, you don't expect to see maybe your local big river where you are in your state or country. And it even has this cool feature there where you can put these like fake AR glasses on in VR, which is really kind of trippy. And with those, you can spot fish under the water. So that's a pretty cool feature. I just think this game looks really cool. And it also allows you to put your own music, loading it onto your Quest in a certain folder, and you're going to get your MP3 music. So that is really neat. And you get to have decorations, and it has leaderboards. If you're a competitive fisher, maybe this is something that'll get you a little fired up. It gets a 97% on the Oculus Store with a whopping 82 reviews. And this one just came out in the past 10 days, so that's pretty good. That is actually one of the highest scores I've seen in the Quest Store. It's way up there. It's only also $20, so it's a pretty good price. Again, if you buy and you don't like it, you do have that warranty option. It's really for anyone, I would say, who's into realistic fishing games. If you're looking for something a little more, relaxed and arcadey, then I would recommend Bait, which is actually free on your Oculus Quest. And one more thing I want to add to the story is that it's being developed right now by the developer, a co-op mode and a player versus player mode, which is really cool. And they're going to add some more language support. And apparently 5 more saltwater locations are coming. So not just rivers anymore, but get onto the ocean. So this is one to definitely keep your eye on. And the developer definitely seems to be committed to keeping this game fresh and adding new content. So good for them. Way to go, MirageSoft. Oh, and this makes me smile. Now, I have not picked this title up myself right now, but it's definitely on my to-do list. And that is Drunken Bar Fight by developer The Monkey. Now, this video here is by Andy the Player. He's got a really good overview of the game. If you want to go in and really get a good sense to what to expect, that's a way to go. He's got a fantastic video. It's really, as you can see, or if you heard anything about this game, it's really about a simple, immersive, silly, rowdy, punching, throwing fists kind of game. You can throw bottles and throw darts and chairs, and if you watch the videos here, lots of other objects. So this is kind of interesting. You can always reach around and grab just about anything. You get to smash patrons to the floor. You can't, unfortunately, kick and stomp yet, but you can definitely do the punching, and you can bend over and just give them a whopping. And you can throw them through glass panes, which I think is very, very appealing. And of course, ultimately, this game's all about doing things that you would never really do in real life because the consequences are just not worth it. It gets a good score as well, 89% on the Oculus Quest Store with 68 reviews. It's $14.99, which is actually a pretty darn good price. We'll call that $15 as well. And really, I would say for anyone who wants a workout and a fight, you do get into this game and you do throw a lot of punches, and so you're gonna work up a sweat for sure. What's really cool about this one, and this one was kind of hard to really confirm, but they are working on multiplayer, including a co-op mode, which apparently is one of the highest rated things they've been asked for, which makes sense. I compared it a week or so ago to Double Dragons back in the 80s. That was a fantastic game, and having a buddy tag along with you in the co-op was great in the arcades. So I can really see the appeal, and I hope they do bring this one about. I hope they don't co-locate it though, because I think someone's going to get a punch in the head if they did. All right, another one we'll talk about is Half-Life. Now, I'm sorry, Half-Life is Half and Half. It's by developer Normal, and this one's a bit of an interesting game. Now, I have purchased this game, and it's something that is really hard to describe. Even watching this video here, it's hard to describe. Gamertag VR, we see his video here. It gives you a little bit of an insight into it. And then Nathy over on his channel, he played it this past week. And he had very good things to say about it as well, and he gave a much more bigger overview. He played it for quite some time on his channel. It is a multiplayer game where you get to connect with others. That's sort of the real core thing here, is that you're going to connect with other people. You can't really play this game solo really at all. You have to play with other people. It has 5 unique player spaces to go and explore. You get to swim in the ocean. You get to glide through clouds. You get to play human Tetris with other friends. And you get to do hide and seek, which apparently, and I have not tried this one yet, is a lot of fun because the hider gets to go really small, has a squeaky little voice, and the other player gets really, really large. And so there's this interesting, like you're looking through little things to find your friends. So this is a really interesting take, and it gets a lot of good reviews. So me and Immersive Knee are going to be trying this one out right after I record this. It gets 70% on the Quest store with 27 reviews. And one of the biggest things that I've seen in some of those comments is that there's not a lot of people to play with. And I have heard that even from other YouTubers. Now, let's hope that that changes because this is a fantastic title and there's just more people to play with. But that does seem to be where it's right now. It's competing with a lot of free games that are also social, like Rec Room and AltSpace and other titles. So we'll see how this one does. But I think if you have a friend to play with, this is a great co-op experience. Only $15 in the store, and really it's for anyone who's looking for more unique social environments. And this is very different. The games in here and how you play it is really different than any other social environment I have seen in VR, full stop. So definitely want to check out if that intrigues you. And like I said, it has a co-op as well. And one more I'll talk about last is Angry Birds. They had a new update this past week, and if you own the game, it's already been updated or should be automatically. You don't have to do anything on your end. At Quest is just like that. It's made by developer Resolution Games, and you can see here, Remarcus, he played the Isle of Pig versions back some time ago, maybe 2 or 3 months ago when it first came out. But now they've gone and added 13 never seen before levels called Creepy Climb, and they're sort of positioning it for Halloween. It's a Halloween sort of thing, and no reviews as of yet I've seen on these actual new updates, but it looks really cool in the videos I've seen. And the Oculus Quest gets an extra 13 levels just by itself. That came Malibu Beach that originally was out on the Rift, and now the Quest gets it. So they've already added quite a bit of content to this game. So I'm really happy to see Revolution Games supporting it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else they come out with down the line. Oh, and on top of all this, you still get the Isle of Pig, I should say, as well. It gets 88% in the Oculus Store with 36 reviews. That's the actually Isle of Pig main game. There's no way to review these add-ons. But we'll have to see if that score goes up or down now with these add-ons. It's also $15. And really, I would recommend this to anybody if you haven't already picked it up. If you're an Angry Birds fan, this is definitely one. It's cool. It's just like Angry Birds on your phone and whatnot. But it is very cool in VR. I really quite like playing it. All right, so let's get into the apps and experience section. Also this week, there's quite a few new titles in the store. The first one we're going to talk about is my personal favorite on the Quest, and that is Tribe XR DJ School. It is a full-on DJ, full-functioning system. I'm talking if you have been to a major nightclub or festival, this is the gear that they'll be using. It looks and behaves exactly the same. And I have a background in DJing, and when I first stepped into Tribe and pulled up to those CDJs and mixer, I was blown away because it felt exactly like my old setup. And like when I was playing in the club, it was really trippy. So well done, Tribe. You get to import your own music. So it comes with a bunch of tracks, as well as you can go and upload via the cable that comes with your Quest. You can plug it into your PC and stream or upload your music straight to a folder on there. So not very hard to do. What's really neat about this is that you can actually go and invite your friends. And I got a video I'll show you here in just a moment of exactly that, sort of a pilot that we're putting together. But you can have up to 15 people in there, including yourself. So that is really neat. And you actually get to do back-to-backs with other DJs. So just like in a real nightclub, when another DJ comes up, they have to do a little dance and kind of swap out on those decks. And you can do that exact same thing in VR with anybody in the world, which is really, really mind-blowing. And just hanging out with people in VR in a virtual nightclub, no matter where they are in the world, is just something truly special. And you can also cross-play. So if you've got a friend who has this title, but they've got a Rift, no problem, they can play with you as well. And what's really neat about this, it isn't just a DJ tool, it's actually a total tutorial and learning environment where they literally have these little icons and little arrows that tell you what each and everything in the switch, the mixer does, and the CDJs and all the buttons do, and then it goes into how to mix and teaches you how to mix. So this is a pretty cool app. So if you don't have any experience and can't afford the gear, this is a pretty cool one to go. It already gets a very high score. It's already been out for not even a week now, and it's at 92% with over 31 reviews. And I can see why I get that high. It is legit. It's only 20 bucks, which let's just pause for a minute and think about that. $20? CDJs in the mixer, even used ones, you're into the thousands. Brand new gear, you're up between 5,000 and 10,000. So this is not expensive. This is not cheap equipment. So $20 is incredible. And I think this is going to open up a lot of DJs who've never had the opportunity because they don't have the money for the gear, or there's no nightclubs where they are, or whatever the situation is. For 20 bucks, they can now jump in, learn on that gear, walk into a real setup with real equipment, and recognize and be familiar with all its operations. So this is a big deal, and I think we're going to find a whole new wave of DJs that are going to be discovered because of this very app. And if you want a little more hands-on, they actually offer boot camps at TribeXR, where you can sign up and go to classes, and a real DJ will join you in VR and help you learn how to mix and coach you. So this is really mind-blowing. This is like the first real solid educational tool we've seen on the Quest with such a strong focus. So this is exciting. I'm not affiliated with this company whatsoever, so I don't get paid if you go there or don't, but I just want to say this is just a really super cool app. And maybe I'll just quickly say, to build on that, I actually don't accept anything from anybody. I don't accept any game keys. I don't accept merchandise. I don't accept anything with the expectation to review, because I don't want to taint my opinions. I want to explore things in the same manner that all you do.
Oh, this is cool.
That's so cool. We had so much fun doing that, and we've done a few others where we've invited more people into the room to test it out, and it was just so cool to have a whole bunch of Metaverse Adventures people dancing to my set, looking at you. You can talk to them. Really, 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 really cool. Anyways, the next game I want to talk about is one called AltSpace VR. And you probably recall a couple weeks ago, I got it mixed up with VR chat, but they are very different experiences. Well, it's now officially in the store. You no longer have to sideload this title. AltSpace VR really is just like VR chat and other like Rec Room. It's a social-based community experience. It provides, these virtual spaces to go hang out, and there's some pretty cool spaces that they've built in here. And the games in there are really top drawer. They've actually built an SDK, and developers are able to basically put their apps in their ecosystem and make money off it at some point. Whereas things like Rec Room and other titles, it's user contributed, and there's no way to really monetize it yet. We'll see what happens. But that's AltSpace's sort of angle on things. It has some pretty cool avatars as well that can automatically mimic some of your body language depending on what your head's doing on your hands. And it has some pretty cool live events. This one here you saw earlier on the screen was Reggie Watts, and it's like lots of other things like that. They got lots of comedians, DJs, authors, celebrities, and more. So it's sort of like VR chat meets big screen sort of thing, but instead of a screen, it's avatars talking and acting and whatnot. So this is cool. It gets an 86% on the Oculus Store, and just to put that in perspective, VR chat, which is their big competitor, gets an 82%. So we'll have to see what the scores are in a few weeks when things level out, but it does appear that maybe AltSpace has an edge, probably because of their games. They're pretty top drawer. And it's also free, so no risk here to try this one. You can go and download it and get in right now. And really, it's for anyone who likes to explore social platforms and anyone who likes free things, because there's some pretty cool games in here that you can go and play. Another one we're going to talk about is this week is called Traveling While Black. This is a title brought to us by Felix and Paul Studios. They're the ones that maybe you recall do a lot of these 180 and 360 videos, and probably one of their more famous ones is when they visited Barack and Michelle Obama in the White House. So you get to go front and center and look around that room. So that was pretty cool. This one here, really what they've tried to do is that they've built a cinematic VR experience that puts you in the shoes of a Black American back in the time period where their movement was restricted. And this is an interesting experience. You get to get transported all the way to this place called Ben's Chili Bowl, which is back in Washington, D.C. I don't know anything about it myself, but it is a locale that's quite famous. You get to share an intimate moments with different individuals in that environment, in that restaurant. And while traveling, you get to experience what it's like to have, the blockages and sort of the racism aimed at towards you. And the whole intent here is really to give you this empathetic experience. It doesn't get a great review. I was a little surprised, only 65%. And I've downloaded this one, so that's one of my plans is to go watch next. Maybe it's the 360 format and everyone's super into that. It is free, so there's really no risk to go and try it out. And really it's for anyone who is looking for some empathy to understand another human's, plight, what's going on in their life. This is a great way to do it. So I encourage you to go check it out. And if something does interest you, you can also go check out Anne Frank House, which is a similar title that also works with, and it puts you in an empathetic headspace because you get to experience their world through their eyes. And that's a great one. And it gets a very high score, that one. And the last one I want to talk about is one called Adam Savage's Tested VR. You probably know Adam Savage. He came from that, what was that show called? Oh, shoot. Mythbusters. I don't know why I forgot that. I love Mythbusters. This is a great show. But he's got his own studio now. He does This Is Only a Test VR podcast with Norm and Jeremy, and they do their VR segment called Projections. Awesome show. It's like an hour or something long, just talking about VR every month or so. Anyways, this particular one is a full-on VR app that you download, and you get to go into these basically creative workshop spaces. People like Adam Savage and others who do things like one-day builds, they're doing sets, and really it features 8 artists. So people who are, on the leading edge. We've got people who are like, set designers, modelers, props being made for movies, so really cool things, and it really puts you right inside their workshops with these 180-degree cameras, and you get to kind of look around and kind of see the world from their perspective. So if you're looking for insights, that's probably one to go check out. And you also get some bonus footage which includes Adam's Cave workshop. So that would be kind of neat. It gets 89% on the Oculus Store with 23 reviews. That's pretty darn good. It's free as well, so that's a no-brainer. And really, I would say anyone interested in Adam Savage, his one-day builds, and other kind of talented creators around the world, this is something to go check out. And it might give you some insights about how you can set up your workshop. All right, that's all the titles in the store this week, and there's some pretty good ones in there. I'm curious, which titles would you be getting? Is there anything here that piqued your interest? And if you already own the game, what do you think? Do you agree with the score here, or would you come up with a different view? We would love to hear your comments. So please, let us know below. And I would encourage you, if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that bell icon, because this week, I'm going to be putting out some OC6 episodes. And you may not realize that, but this video today was done in a very different format than my past edited videos. And in fact, I almost spent no time editing those videos, almost all done live with overlays and such. And it's working out very well, and it allows me to only spend about 20 to 25% of the time I was in the old method. And this is going to allow me to bring you the news nightly at OC6. So hit that button, subscribe, and we'll see you all in the metaverse.